make, but we still have to make it. And the race is on. Basically, that's what I'll say. But welcome on Hard Facts. I'm Kalada Kurupatbo. Once again, 92.3 Nigeria Info. We're live on Facebook, on YouTube, active on X. Nigeria Info page is the handle, and so you can go there and watch us live. I have my guest in the studio. I'll introduce him shortly. He's a public affairs analyst, and I've had a conversation with him. I think that was before was it 2019, 2023 election? I can't remember now. I think it was before the 2023 election. We had our permutations and all, but this is what it is today. So yesterday, the former Minister for Transportation and former Governor of Rivers State, Right Honorable Rotimi Amaechi, visited Port Harcourt. I don't know if it's still in Rivers State. And at the international airport, he was graced with the presence of his supporters, and he made certain statements, and from that I gleaned that the coalition has finally decided to make its presence felt in Rivers State, because there was the call for his supporters to vote out. We call them merchant riggers, something like that, merchant of riggers, something like that. And there were talks began. People started to analyze. And I've been thinking, because you and I, we've talked about this before, but I want us to talk about it again as it relates to how this will impact on the politics of Rivers State. So to help me have the conversation today, once again, is the public affairs analyst. He goes by the name Dumeezor Sampson. Did I pronounce your name very well?
Well, that's fine and good.
No. What's the correct pronunciation?
Yeah, that's Dumeezor. Yeah, Dumeezor.
I don't want Ogoni people to come for me.
Oh, well, not bad within context.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Sampson, that works for me now. Welcome on the show.
Thank you.
What would you say about the current state in Rivers? Let me put it that way. The politics, governance. How would you describe it?
Well, the question is a bit ambiguous for me, but currently I wouldn't say we've made so much progress.
Okay.
From 2023.
Okay.
For reasons obvious.
Oh, what are the reasons?
The reasons are that not too long from when the governor came in, we started having political disputes, disagreements between himself and the State House of Assembly. And of course, that has affected us a whole lot. We've not seen quite much of governance.
All right.
I'd rather say that we've been almost in the same spirit as we went into the 2023 elections, because it's all been politics and less of development in Rivers State.
So what was the spirit? Can you, because I don't think I know the spirit you're talking about. What spirit was that?
Well, going into the 2023 elections, it was just all about support base.
Okay.
Who's supporting who.
Okay, all the calculations and permutations.
And permutations and all of that. So after the election, pretty much after the governor was sworn in, we were back to almost the 2023 spirit or atmosphere, you would say, where people were left in between supporting the governor or you're against the governor, and either you're for the minister or you're for the governor or you're for the State of House of Assembly.
You had to choose.
You had to choose where to belong based on your interest. And here we are now. Amaechi just joined the queue. So,
but don't you think, because that's supposed to be my next question, my next line of thoughts. Don't you think Amaechi joining the queue makes it relevant? Because you've just said that for 2 years plus, we've been moving at slow pace or even at a standstill, and just maybe we need a coalition. Don't you think so?
Coalition in Rivers State?
That's why Amaechi is here. Don't you think we need it?
Well, as a person, I'm not against opposition. Of course, it's part of the elements of good democracy that you have the opposition, so they can checkmate the ruling party. And then, of course, offer the alternative to citizens, to join in whatever the party's manifesto is and what the ideas are. So I'm not against opposition, but if there is a need for a coalition in Rivers State, my straight answer would be, I don't think there is.
But it was intentional when I asked you the first question, and I asked you, how would you describe the state of our Rivers State, right? Whether it's politics, governance, and you described it in your own, view, and you said, "See, my perspective is that there has been a slow pace, or a standstill, so to say." And if that is the case, that means we need something like an alternative, which you said opposition brings. So would a coalition not bring such? Because you've just said you don't need, but that looks like contradiction.
In clear terms, I'll say that we have opposition in the state, of course. We have other parties in the state.
Okay.
But when we talk about the coalition, of course, it appears to me more like a conglomeration of personalities and not an offering of a better alternative.
But when you talk about the other political parties, one, I want to ask, are they effective? Two, I want to ask, is it not a coming together of personalities as well? Or because we've not really seen opposition as an offering in River State.
Yeah, why I said so is because those in PDP, we know them, we know their antecedents. Those in APC, we know them, we know their antecedents. Those who are now saying they want to go, they are forming a coalition. We also know them and we know their antecedents. So you've been hearing ADC for some days. You hardly would be able to refer to what ADC means. What is the manifesto of the party? What are they offering as alternative to Nigerians? But rather what you see most are personalities that we're very conversant with, personalities whose history we know, personalities whose antecedents we know. And when they come on board, they're not speaking about something different that we've not heard. They're not telling us this is the manifesto of ADC. This is our social contract that we're offering to the people.
But they have said it.
No.
They've said they'll, like Amaechi said yesterday, there'll be no hunger. I mean, good ADC hunger goes, and Nigerians are suffering. That's the social contract in it.
Very ridiculous. So the question,
how is it ridiculous?
The question
are people not hungry?
The question you would want, no, people have always been hungry.
Oh, okay.
And the question you would want to ask is, if the former governor and former minister says, we are going to deal with hunger issue. The question you should be asking, that's why I said there are people, we know their antecedents, we know their history, we know what they've been up to. The question we should be asking the minister is, when you were in the saddle, all right, you were speaker for 8 years, you were governor for 8 years, you had become minister, grade A minister for 8 years. How much did you solve hunger issues? Were Nigerians not hungry? Were Rivers people not hungry? Now,
okay,
permit me, when you look at even the statistics of empowerment, because we always say that politics is about interest. It's about where favors your vision the most and your ideas and your principles. And if politics is about interest, then Mr. Amaechi now says people are more hungry than before. The only justification to who is right or wrong is to look at the statistics. And in looking at the statistics, we may want to ask the former minister, when you were Minister of Transportation, the grade A minister, one of the most famous ministers in Buhari's government for 8 years, how many persons did you empower? How many Rivers people got federal appointment? How many persons did you draw out of poverty?
But is that so? I like how we're having a conversation now. While in a Nigerian context, empowerment means giving appointment. Could we also see empowerment as people getting employed because they are constructing the railway, people getting employed because they are building an airport, people getting employed because, they have to work as, contractors in building the famous Lagos to Ibadan road, So the point is, could that also be seen as empowerment, since we're looking at antecedents now?
All of those are the deliverables. It's all part of it. But when it comes to politics, there are people who set the policies. Okay. All right. So if you want to talk about employment, to talk about development, there are policymakers.
All right.
All right. And when you have policymakers available, you'll be thinking, how many do you have within your disposal? Because the more you have, the more the chances to churn out a greater result or empowerment to people. So we want to ask Mr. Amaechi, how many people got appointed through you as a grade A minister for 8 years? No, you take the statistics, you compare to how many persons, by virtue of Nyesom Wike being, I'm not here to advertise any person, but I'm doing the analysis.
You're free. You're free
now,
free.
So you do that versus how many persons that have gotten federal appointment under 2 years, under Amaechi, under Nyesom Wike as Minister of FCT. Then you compare to how many persons got federal appointments under Rotimi Amaechi as a grade A minister from Rivers State for 8 years. When you do that versus this, you will discover that the number of persons that have gotten into juicy positions in this government, costing the minister of the FCT, is far greater than the number that Amaechi produced in 8 years.
Mr. Sampson, before we get into policy, I'm sorry I keep interjecting because you keep bringing questions, for me to ask. Should government, right? Because Amaechi is clamoring for a coalition that will bring forth a government that will solve the problems Nigerians are faced with, and I want to ask: should it be about who gets juicy positions, or should it be about what you've called deliverables? What should be the utmost importance for Nigerians? Is it getting juicy appointments, or is it getting the deliverables? Because if we have deliverables as common as they should be, then maybe people will not be as eager to be in juicy positions and stir up corruption like we have in the country.
Well, I don't want to go into corruption issue, but I want to speak to the clarity of facts that I'm trying to make bare.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about deliverables, all right, they don't come natural.
Oh, okay.
They don't come natural.
Okay.
That's why I started by saying that you need policymakers to form policies, and then you go into implementation.
So you need people.
You need people.
Okay.
That's how democracy operates. It's about the numbers.
Okay.
For you to emerge as the winner, you have to have the greater number. Now, if you want more, you also need to have the greater number. Now, how does that greater number affect the people? As much persons have access into these key positions, all right, it also creates more opportunities for more persons to be accommodated. And that's how the system flows. So that's one way you ought to solve hunger. Because if they say, for instance, I'm the minister for FCT. I saw on Facebook where people were complaining that Rivers people are getting allocation of properties in the FCT. I mean, what is wrong with that? We've had Northerners become minister of FCT for years. You don't know how many Northerners got
juicy positions,
allocation of properties. What's that? It's a Nigerian thing. We all own it. Okay, but that's the idea I'm trying to tell you. That look, when you have somebody in, for instance, heading the civil service, you understand that there are more opportunities for those closer to you to be able to maybe break through all of the hurdles, to be able to be favored, to get opportunity. If at the least you have first-hand information to information. First-hand knowledge, rather, to information.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that, look, when you talk about hunger, let's look at you when you were there, what you did, let's see the result, and what is obtainable now. So it is then versus now.
So are you saying he does not have the political numbers? I'm talking to Mr. Amaechi now.
Clearly so, and it was obvious yesterday. It's obvious. The minister has depleted his followership base by himself.
How?
Look at 2015. When we moved into the All Progressives Congress,
you were
2014.
You were
yes,
a follower of Amaechi?
Yes, I moved from the PDP to the APC, 2014 to 2015.
Okay.
You look at the numbers that heralded the formation of the APC from Rivers State. You can go to social media and see the pictures and videos. It was a staggering number of persons. Now, you look at the number that had just welcomed the minister yesterday.
It's a welcome, not a rally.
No.
It's a welcome.
In politics, there are ways we make statements. People coming to welcome you. I mean, he's been coming to Rivers State. People have not been coming to the airport in that number. As much as it is infinitesimal. People have not been coming. So, but when politicians want to make statements, that's how to make statements. I mean, the former senator from Kogi State, what's his name? Dino
Milai. Yeah.
Dino went home. You saw the numbers. You saw the former minister from Osun State, Aregbe-Shola. You saw the numbers. This is how politicians make statements.
Are you implying in any way that the former governor is not popular anymore in Rivers State?
The former governor is not just unpopular. The former governor does not have the capacity to sell an alternative to Rivers State. You can call it a judgment on my part, but we'll look at his antecedents. And I was talking about All Progressives Congress. This is a party that was heralded and welcomed by Rivers people in 2015. Under Amaechi's leadership, if you look at the number of persons that had left the APC, because the party today is under a rebuilding process. If you look at the number of persons who left the All Progressives Congress and how much failures the party recorded under Rotimi Amaechi,
do you blame
even as a grade A minister,
you blame him for all of that?
Yes, of course.
I mean, when we come back, I tell you, some, because we have a commercial in a bit. But when we come back, I tell you some of the factors that may have resulted or may have affected the APC. By the way, but I read the news. I broadcast it as well. So I just probably will tell you a bit of it. The Magnus Abbey issue, for instance. The people who went to court, for instance. All of these issues. But we'll be right back. Just stay tuned. I'm enjoying my conversation with Mr. Sampson. When I come back, we'll talk some more. the conversation I'm having, and I'm giggling because I can see the WhatsApp messages pouring, and my goodness, my guest is on the hot seats, fire burning. It looks like you're not on the run.
No. We're used to all of this. People have a right to their opinion as much as mine. So
all right.
It's welcome.
All right. So you just heard the voice of Dumeezor, Sampson, and we've been talking about the coalition yesterday. Rotimi Amaechi, came into the state, and there were talks about coalition, setting up structure, and taking up the challenge here in Rivers State. But before the break, I was arguing with my guest, and it was like, under Rotimi Amaechi's leadership, the APC crumbled in the state. And I was going to tell him that there was the Senator Magnus Abbey factor, where they were in court, and I bought ticket, I did not buy ticket. What's the name? Umaru Musa and 19 others, if I remember very well.
Ibrahim
Umar, sorry.
Yes.
You even remember.
And 23 others.
Yes. So there were all of those cases.
Yeah.
There were the situation of who will be flag bearer in, was it 2019 and even 2023.
Yeah.
So there were all of these issues. So can you solely blame the multiplicity of interest all on Rotimi Amaechi?
An emphatic yes.
Why?
And I'll say so.
Yeah, tell me.
Politics is dynamic.
All right.
And the I want to say that the electoral law, as much as it's not the best yet, tries to make it an easy affair for us.
Okay.
You made reference to what happened in the All Progressives Congress and the plethora of litigations. And that again speaks to the leadership. Why do you have too much litigation under you? You're leader of a party. Is it that you couldn't manage everybody? And why is everybody going to court? And to be straight with you, it wasn't just Magnus who went to court. We're talking about thousands of persons who went to court. And why did they go to court? Because their rights were infringed on.
How?
People wanted to contest for different positions in the party, from the ward to the LGA to the state. They spent their hard-earned money to pay for forms for a political party that they have not benefited nothing. They paid for forms. They were denied access to the forms. They were denied access to participate in the congresses. And they chose, rather than bombing everywhere, they chose to go to court. If the leader didn't deny them the participation, first access to what they have paid for, and participation in a process which the Constitution guarantees, nobody would have gone to court. And even when they went to court, the State High Court ruled, the leader of the party didn't respect it. The matter traveled to appeal court and traveled to Supreme Court. The leader of the party was hell-bent on doing what was clearly undemocratic. That's how people went to court. So it wasn't a Magnus Abbey factor. It was a plethora of persons who were aggrieved by the processes the party was running under Rotimi Amaechi. And the same thing happened in 2023. That's how we didn't have a candidate in 2019. That's how 2023 was a mess.
Okay, talking about Senator Magnus Abbey, some people, a couple of messages have dropped in. I've not read them, but from
I'm here to answer all questions.
I want to summarize. I've not read them. I will still read them. But they call you an anti-Amaechi person. Is that true? You're a supporter of Magnus Abbey, so no good thing can be said about Rotimi Amaechi.
Oh, we are not in enmity. This is a matter of principle. It's not about, I don't have, Amaechi didn't take my wife. I didn't take his money. It's a matter of principle.
But he probably didn't give you an appointment, so you probably, that's what some of them are hinting.
No, I don't need his appointment. I'm surviving. You can see me. Do I look unhealthy? I'm living. I'm surviving.
Okay.
I was in APC under Amaechi for the length of years. I didn't get any appointment, but I'm still alive. I still don't have an appointment now, but I'm still alive. It's not about appointment. Listen, this thing is about people. And I tell you for real that we went through a lot to establish the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State. Now, when people now say, okay, the party has been established, let me have the opportunity. As a member of the party, I have the right to contest for Congress, as little as Congress that they don't even have a statutory salary. You deny them. It was so bad that even persons within the party who were to be given appointment, they were told, the president was told that they are dead. just so they'll be denied opportunity of getting an appointment. That's the personality we're talking about. That's the lifestyle approach we're talking about. So when you now tell me that the same person whom I have had a life experience, I'm not telling you theory, this is no history, I'm telling you what I saw. You now tell me that the same person comes back after 8 years. After, go and ask, okay, and I say this respectfully, Amaechi comes to public to say he's hungry. Go and meet any of his children, and I say it respectfully, ask them if they are hungry.
But when we say,
no, I'm giving you a clear question.
When we say hunger is figuratively, we're not saying it literally.
Explain to me how figurative it is.
The cost of living, basically.
The cost of living.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. His children are existing. And I mean no disrespect. Find out wherever they are and however you can access them and ask them if they are hungry. They are not. A man who says he's hungry went to Dara with a private jet. Do you know how much a private jet is to hire for a day? Do you know how many supporters of Rotimi Amaechi that could be empowered through SMEs with the money he used for a private jet?
Can I ask you a personal question? Do you think River State deserves better?
River State deserves better.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And listen.
And you don't think the coalition has it doesn't have to be Rotimi Amaechi, right? But
oh my God, who else? Who else? Mention any other name. Who else came with Rotimi Amaechi yesterday? It was himself who came. He's the face of the party. And I'm telling you that this face of the party is
but does it have to be one man who controls how a party? Because if a coalition is being formed, it means a couple of politicians will coalesce into that place, into that party. So don't you think that such an alternative is necessary? I mean, we've spent a better time on the show talking about that one person, but don't you think a coalition will bring about the birth of maybe the savior, Moses?
You're not wrong to think that way. And I have said, when people come out, let's look at their antecedents. Let's look at their history. Now, it is unarguable that as of today, the face of the ADC coalition in Rivers State is Right Honorable Rotimi Chibike Amaechi. And when you talk about, not talking about one person, people are attached to people. He feels that he is popular. And
what do you mean by he feels he's popular?
He said it in his interview on Channels TV that he's popular.
He's popular. When you say he feels like, I don't know. He's the former governor of Rivers State, two-time governor, two-time speaker here at Rivers State.
Yes.
You called him a grade A minister 2 times, by the way. So you can't say he's not popular. It's as popular can be.
Listen, when we talk about popularity in politics,
you're talking about numbers?
We're talking about numbers.
Okay.
And not just the numbers, but your ability to translate your numbers into results.
Okay.
So the former minister has a history of losing elections. So how else do you define your popularity? Is politics a fashion contest? It's not. It's not a showbiz context. Politics is about result. It's about deliverables.
Right.
So when somebody says I'm popular, we look at your popularity in the aspect of the results that you produce. You've lost election 1, 2, 3, 4 times consistently.
Is Senator Magnus Abbey popular?
Senator Magnus Abbey is popular. Everybody knows.
But going by your measurements, it looks like Senator Magnus is in the same boat, right?
Oh, no. Senator Abbey for the first time contested governorship in 2023.
Okay.
He has been this, he has been that. Always won his elections. In fact, in 2015, against all odds, when All Progressives Congress lost the Rivers State, Magnus Abbey won his election. Yes. That's how he went to the Senate for the last time he did. Okay. So his popular is unarguable. But what I'm saying is that, look, when somebody comes to say, look, I am offering you an alternative, and then the person talks, when you see his speech, you say, okay, between now and the past, he has repented. He has changed. There's nothing that has changed about Rotimi. He's still talking the same thing, saying the same thing. Amaechi used hunger to campaign in 2015 when we formed APC. In 2019, gone, he was minister. 2023, down, he was presidential candidate. He's still talking about hunger.
All right.
So when you become minister for 8 years, what did you solve? And we're still dealing with hunger issue.
All right. I would have to take comments now. I'll have to go to the phone lines, but let me read some messages. And just to warn you, a lot of them are really, really harsh and against you. I'm going to try to screen as much as I can. But this one says, your guest there is Auntie Amaechi from all indication. A welcome park should not be seen as a rally. I think a welcome pack should be seen as a rally. Is that correct? is with Wiki to that. He said that is all. Okay, I didn't really. Your message was difficult to read.
No, I try to explain. That's what I said. That politics, there are ways to make a statement.
Yeah.
But in that number, as much as it's too small to welcome him. So he felt, and can I tell you the truth?
What if people did not?
A lot of mobilization was done. People were conscientized. People were called. People were told several things.
Were you called?
No, I have people around me on the other divide. And they were called. They did everything to mobilize, kept buses at different junctions in Port Harcourt.
Oh, interesting.
And you saw what it accumulated into. A small, embarrassing number.
All right. Let's read some more messages. This is from James Brave. Good evening, Canada Korea. The former Minister of Transportation supporting and promoting coalition as the platform to usher in good governance. I'm asking, was Amaechi not part of a government before? How well did that government solve the problem of Nigeria? All right, calm down. We'll get back to you. You've had your time. But let's listen to Kolade from Choba. And it says, good evening, Kalada. Your guest is highly intelligent and factual, not an emotional being. You have been in government since 1999 to 2023. Just 2 years out of power, you said Nigerians should revolt. You said you are hungry. It is an embarrassment on the intelligence of Nigeria. A government that made you minister for 8 years, you dumped them just because of your selfish interests. This kind of person does not have the moral right to talk about national issues, but unfortunately, most Nigerians can't reason beyond what they hear from the semi-gods they call leaders. All right, Clever Sonny, we don't insult people here. I mean, you can call him, partisan and all, but, going that far, I can't read your message. I have to skip that. It says the man in your studio is hungry and angry because Amaechi refused to give him an appointment, so his hatred for Amaechi goes nowhere. ADC will stand. Indu from Oyigbo. Let's see. This was a Wiki hasn't given anyone huge appointment of Nimasa DG, NNDC, NDDC. I think you meant MD, UPTH, MD, Uniport Board Chairman, and many more, and not that uniformed appointment given to Obwa by Wike. Don't forget Amaechi facilitated the return of 78 billion to Wike as governor. Victor from Eguma. So Victor is trying to counter, saying he facilitated UPTH, MD, NDDC, MD, Nimasa, and all of that stuff. But let's keep reading. I'll take some calls in a bit. This one says Rivers people are worse off today than they were under Amaechi. Any argument to that, or any argument to the contrary, will be disingenuous. And that exactly is the path your guest is towing. Austin with that one. All right. This one says, Canada, your guest is a known anti-Amaechi. He has come again instead of facing his PD-APC arrangement. He's not a spokesman for Rivers people. Whatever he's saying, there is personal opinion. We need an alternative, and ADC is here. My family and I will embrace it with my full chest. We and APC have brought nothing to Rivers State apart from state of emergency. If Wike is popular, let him go and test his popularity with PDP ticket come 2027. Amaechi remains the best governor Rivers State has ever had. John from Port Harcourt. All right, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and 0817-923-0007. These are the call numbers. Let's get talking. WhatsApp 0809-030-6416. Now, reading some more messages. This is good afternoon, Canada, and your guest. I stand in for none of them. However, the reason behind Rotimi Amaechi's initial massive support was largely due to his defection to the All Progressives Congress while still serving as governor. His popularity waned significantly thereafter, as evidenced by the APC's inability to field a candidate in the 2015 general election. When it comes to popularity and influence in Rivers State politics and beyond, Nyesom Wike stands out as a formidable figure, surpassing Rotimi Amaechi. Wike's enduring popularity and governance track record has cemented his position as a major player in the state's politics. Calvin Yobu Frank in Port Harcourt. But let's now quickly listen to some of the callers and what they've got to say. I've got Francis calling from Andoni. Francis, welcome. Good afternoon.
Good evening, Father.
Yeah, welcome.
And your guest in the studio.
Thank you, Mr. Francis.
I did not get my radio to listen to know the name of the guest in the studio.
But that's not the focus. The focus
is
yeah. Go ahead. What's your thoughts?
Your guest is one of those infrastructure politicians.
Are you calling? Are you calling in to insult, or are you calling in to focus on what we're talking about? Chima from Rumokuta, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear from you.
Mr. Canada, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
I greet the wonderful guest. Good afternoon, my brother.
Thank you.
Go straight to the point, please.
I won't want to dive into what you guys have spoken, but I want to also make you people understand that I'm not talking about it's not a Democrat.
How do you mean by he's not a Democrat?
Now, what was the major problem we had there with Spain? He was trying to kill an institution, another arm of government, which is legislative. Amaechi did it here in Rivers State, killing down the judiciary for 2 years. It was very open by then. Our eyes were not open in this Rivers State. We couldn't fight in the we fought him as I speak to you now. In Amaechi's this in APC, that was the case I said before. I noticed it, and I am a casualty about it because my cousin was involved. You cannot even do any congress that Amaechi writes the name from the top to the top. Now, let me talk to Mr. Canada. Amaechi entered Rivers State yesterday, and for the past 8 years, he has been entering Rivers State. Who has followed him? To make sure that I'm not going to say he's selfish, but he doesn't like sharing. When he has power, people did not wait for him at the airport. When he could give the people, they did not wait for him. He continuously entered Rivers State, but now that he's not on power again, he's not entering triumphantly. Mr. Canada, those people that you saw, that those handful of people we saw yesterday, they are rented. Nobody's going to pull out making Rivers State.
All right.
I'm telling you,
you don't have proof, Chima. You don't have proof to that fact, but thank you nonetheless for calling in. Obed from GRA. Obed, welcome. I'd like to hear your thoughts. What's on your mind?
Canada, good evening.
Yeah, greetings. Welcome.
I think your guest is being economic with the truth.
All right. So what's the truth now? So let's leave my guess.
Yeah. Balance the issue.
Let's get the truth. No. I need you to go straight to the point, Obed. Straight to the point. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good day.
I thought you would have balanced the issue because in this state we heard that a certain person bought bonds for all the candidates. You understand? So these people are the same. So he can't come out and pick on one person. That's what I mean. If Amaechi has offended him, he should go and look for a way to go and...
So Obed, the conversation is on coalition. I don't know if you started... So can I come in now, Obed, because I find it offensive. Now, the conversation is on coalition. We're looking at the capacity of the coalition and not whether somebody bought forms for everybody. So the conversation is on coalition. Can we stay on that? And if they have the capacity to change, right? Can we stay on whether Rotimi Amaechi has the power and capacity to do that, please?
Yes, the coalition has come to stay.
All right, then.
You understand? It doesn't matter if anybody form coalition certain time,
all right,
or the person bring APC. Not at all.
Okay.
The coalition has come to stay. That's what I said yesterday. It gives us opportunity to choose between light and darkness.
Okay.
It gives Nigerians that opportunity. So you don't expect us, after Nigerians are suffering in this form, and we just bundle ourselves and bring back APC. I don't understand. We are hearing of borrowing to the tune of how many $1 billion. Understand? The current president have mortgaged the country. So if alternative is there for Nigeria, we have the right to make our choice. And your guest in the studio cannot stop it.
All right. It's not trying. All right. Obed, thank you. It's not about the guest once again. Please, can we stay on the matter? Because I'm finding it really offensive now. Lekpene from Port Harcourt, welcome on the show.
Good evening, Mr. Canada.
Yeah, welcome.
I can tell you for free today that in contemporary politics of Nigeria today, Right Honorable Rotimi Amaechi stands tall, very tall.
All right.
Imagine if after him from 2015 to this, we have had a governor that continue with the step he was adopting. Imagine how Rivers State would have become.
All right.
Let me tell you that there is no incurable hatred that can bring him down.
All right.
He is the face of the coalition in Rivers State, and everywhere many Rivers people, including my humble self, we are solidly behind him.
So you're saying he stands tall and he has the capacity, yeah?
And why I'm still convinced to follow him that I have never seen any other Rivers politician that has anything to offer to the ordinary Rivers people. Imagine what he did in this state, targeting the poor. All his policies were geared towards ameliorating the suffering of the ordinary people, not for the rich. Let me tell you the problem you have in this state. The rich in this state always gang up against him. So they will continue to impoverish the poor in this state. All those who say he always made election, they are those who collected money from him. They never won in their respective units. I have a data of those who took money from him to take their various units and they never won in their units. How do you expect to me, Amaechi, who they always say he never won election? He won election in 2015. His senator won election. His House of Rep won election. He wasn't contesting election. So those who contested like Tony Okocha never won. And the rest of all
right.
I know how we fought in the Ogoni land. Magnus did not win in 2015. It was the rerun. He won in 2016.
All right. I've got to go. I'm out of time, but thank you very much. So you're saying Amaechi is one of the best governors ever, and I'll let my guests tackle that issue. But JJ, for Rumi, it's good to have you. Welcome, JJ.
Kalada, I greet you this evening.
I greet you as well.
Let me greet my friend in the studio, Dumeezor.
Good evening.
Oh, that's the pronunciation, Dumeezor.
He was talking about Magnus winning election, why Amaechi has not won. As at the time Magnus, distinguished Senator Magnus Abe won that election, who was the leader of the party? So if you ascribe that winning to distinguished Senator Magnus Abe, why Amaechi didn't win the election? As Amaechi contested any election physically from that time, you didn't also remember that Victoria Inyeshe won the seat in the House Assembly. You didn't remember that Bike Wanjoku won. You didn't remember Benny Bo Anabraba won. You didn't remember the guy from LMA, what's that his name? The guy name is Shai. You didn't remember? I don't understand this whole thing. What about Andrew Ushendu? What about him wooing the Senator Idozu back to the PDP? I don't understand all this your record now. People have records too now. Ordinarily, I wouldn't have called, but when you begin to spill things that are not true, we hold people responsibility to tell them the truth.
All right.
How did Magnus Abe went to the Senate under Amaechi, and you are putting Amaechi that he has not won, but Magnus Abe won?
So in summary, JJ, you're trying to say that Rotimi Amaechi has got the popularity and the capacity to run the coalition in Rivers State.
Popularity. I just say, let me say the record.
No, but okay, all right. Thank you for setting the record straight. But I'm out of time, right?
Yeah.
Some people say you've listened to the callers, apart from the people who try to make it offensive and try to attack in person. You've heard that Amaechi is the best governor that has happened to Rivers State. You had one or two callers say that, even from the messages. You've also had, JAJ say, his people won. I mean, he called a couple of names, Yeche, Uchendu, a lot of people, and they won elections during, even the Magnus Abe you made reference. It was during his time as leader of the party. My point is, shouldn't we be based, and I remember asking you if you want Rivers to be better, but you didn't allow me to put my follow-up question. Don't you think we should be thinking development and not necessarily politics?
There's no development without politics. It is the politics that brings either underdevelopment or development.
But if Amaechi can bring, if people still see him as the best governor, don't you think we need that replicated?
That's people's opinion. But let me just go straight to that. When Amaechi was governor, his second tenure, he didn't do much.
But at least he did something.
The bulk of what Amaechi achieved, I like speaking to data. The bulk of what he achieved was in his first tenure. And who was the secretary to state government? It was Magnus Abe. Who was the chief of staff? It was Nyesom Wike. These people betted ideas and didn't just bet ideas. They had the strategy and strength to push to the actual. But
if we go back to your earlier argument, you say a leader is someone who is able to use the people around him. So he was able to use them.
Yes. So when these people were out of the picture, what then happened? That's the question. People must have to see what the real actors are behind the scene. The best of Amaechi's performance was when he was governor for the first 4 years. And I've told you that Wike was in that government. I've told you that Magnus was the secretary to state government. Wike was the chief of staff.
Did you think?
And I go further to say this. Because when people talk about performance, they look at statistics. Under Rotimi Amaechi, we had a lot of primary schools built. Did you expect Nyesom Wike to come and build the same primary schools? Nyesom Wike built more flyovers than Amaechi ever did in Rivers State. That is why they say government is a continuum. It's progressive. So if Amaechi built more healthcare systems, more primary schools, not to forget the fact that Nyesom Wike was the chief of staff and Magnus was the SSG. When Nyesom Wike becomes governor, was he supposed to make this progressive? So when people look at development, you need to determine the angles you're coming from. Speaking to the elections.
I've got to go. My time is up, but thank you very much, Mr. Sampson. You've really caused a bit of
traffic.
I've got to go.
The show continues after this break on Night.